Rent to Rent 2.0 is all about cash flow today and tomorrow. And one of the biggest fears of rent to rent is what happens when you have to give these deals back. So let's say you manage to get these rent to rent deals. You replace your income and you're earning money, but then a landlord wants a property back. Or maybe, one's not working, so you have to give it back. Or maybe the occupancy is a lower 1 month, so you don't actually manage to fully replace your income that month. So what I've done over the past 5 years is I've found a way to actually secure my investment for the long term. And on this video, I'm going to share exactly how I do it through a 5-step formula. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Simon, rent to rent specialist and mentor. And over the past 5 years, I've built a 7-figure revenue rent to rent business. And then I've not gone out there and brought stupid stuff and got gassed. I've reinvested that. I've secured that into assets I own for the long term. And the assets I own currently generate around 10 grand net a month. And my next goal is to do 15,000 a month. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to show you that this stuff works. And if you get a foundation of Rent to Rent 2.0s, this could be you. So let's go through it. So the first thing you're going to need to do in Rent to Rent 2.0 is put your seatbelt on. All right? The first S is seatbelt. And what I mean by this is whatever you need to generate to replace your income, maybe your income and your partner's income, that's your seatbelt figure. So let's just use an example and say, you want to earn £5,000 a month to replace your income and your partner's income, all right? 60 grand a year, 5 grand a month. That is your seatbelt figure. But I know what you're thinking. What about the tax? Yes, it is important to just get that involved in there as well. So what I recommend is whatever your figure is, 5 grand, add 20% to it for the tax man, which means you are going to want to aim for £6,000 a month. So now you know, okay, £6,000 a month, that's my seatbelt figure. How can I do that? And the way I like to do that is I divide £6,000 by £1,000, which is about the average amount you might expect to get in terms of per deal cash flow, which means you're going to need 6 rent to rent deals for stage 1. All right, so I like to do the math, because if you do the math, then you know exactly what you're doing. So write that down on your goals board. You know your seatbelt figure is 6 grand, and that's probably going to be around 6 deals. The second S is scale. All right, because what a lot of people do is they will stop at their seatbelt figure. They will just stop at 6 grand. And then guess what? If 2 years go by and you're still at 6 grand and you've only signed rent to rent agreements for 3 years, you've only got 1 year left. And before you know it, you're never going to be able to secure your investment. And what that means is you've actually got to start from ground zero. You don't want that. So the second S is scale. And I recommend scaling to double your seatbelt figure. So if your seatbelt figure was 6K, you want to be scaling to around 12K, which may be 12 deals. The reason for that is because now you can pay yourself, you can pay the tax man, but you've also got an additional 6K, which you can now let stack up. So guys, if you're wondering why I'm looking down, I am live on Instagram. And if you want to follow me on there, check me out at Simon Smith Online, all right? You know what I mean? I'm leveraging my time here. We're live in multiple places, but you're getting it on that high resolution 4K. So the third S, and a lot of people don't do this, is they don't stop. I remember in my first year, I did 20 rent to rent deals, and I didn't know why. I just said I wanted 20. I didn't follow this. But what you need to do is stop, because when you stop, that 6 grand excess can stack up, okay, every single month. So what that means is when you get to the fourth S, stack, you're earning 6 grand a month for yourself, 6 grand a month for you to save, which means every year you're going to earn £72,000. And guess what? What do you do at the end of that first 12 months. You go and buy your first BRR with that £72,000. So if you follow this, as soon as you hit that scale figure, which in this example was 12K, depending on where you are in the country, and I recommend investing in the Midlands or the North with your BRRs because you're going to get more for your money. That means every 12 months, you are going to get one BRR. All right? So think about it. Year one, you fasten your seatbelt and you scale to 12 grand a month. That basically means year two, you can buy one BRR. Year three, you can buy another BRR. Keep in mind, by now, every single time you get a BRR, guys, you're adding a grand. So let me break that down. So you're saving 6 grand a month, but then at the end of year one, you buy a BRR, and then you're saving 6 grand in your rent to rent business plus 1,000 in your BRR business. These should be separate businesses, by the way. So now you're saving 7 grand, which means basically at the end of year two now, you've got even more money, right? Because you've got 7 grand, which is 84,000 pounds. Now you've got enough for the second BRR with change. End of year three, okay, you're now earning, keep in mind you're earning 8 grand, so you've now got 96,000 pounds plus the change from last month. Year three, you might be able to buy 2 BRRs. Now, if you follow that process, at the end of 5 years, you are going to have secured the bag. And that, my friends, is the holy grail. So, just to summarize, S1 is seatbelt. You've got to get your seatbelt on fast, and you've got to do it first. S number 2 is you then scale aggressively. S number 3 is then you stop. So number 4, you can stack the bag, you can stack the money. And number 5, you secure that money into an asset that will guarantee you cash flow for the long term and provide that legacy wealth. So that's what you need to do. If that sounds good, you are in the right place. Do me a favor, if you found this video useful, hit the subscribe button, comment below, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.